10 mysteries. No answers. No suspects. No explanations. These are the cases that have baffled investigators for decades and may never be solved. Mystery number 1. The Lost Colony of Roanoke, 1587. 115 English settlers arrive on Roanoke Island off the coast of North Carolina. They are building the first permanent English settlement in America. Their governor, John White, sails back to England for supplies. When he returns 3 years later, every single settler is gone. No bodies, no graves, no signs of struggle, no blood. The entire colony of 115 men, women, and children had simply vanished. The only clue left behind was a single word carved into a wooden post: Croatoan. Nobody has ever fully explained what happened to the Roanoke colonists. They were never found. Mystery number 2. D.B. Cooper, November 24th, 1971. A man using the name Dan Cooper boards a Northwest Orient flight from Portland to Seattle. He is calm, well-dressed, and completely ordinary looking. Midway through the flight, he passes a note to the flight attendant. It reads, "I have a bomb." He demands $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a refueling truck waiting when they land. His demands are met. He releases the passengers, and then, somewhere over the forests of Washington state, he straps on a parachute, opens the rear door of the plane, and jumps into the night. He was never found. No body was ever recovered. Only a small bundle of his ransom money was ever discovered, buried in a riverbank in 1980. D.B. Cooper remains the only unsolved case of air piracy in American aviation history. To this day, nobody knows who he was or where he went. Mystery number 3. The Sodder Children, Christmas Eve, 1945. George and Jenny Sodder live in Fayetteville, West Virginia with their 10 children. At midnight, their house catches fire. George and Jenny escape with 4 of their children, but 5 of their children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, are never seen again. Fire investigators say the children died in the fire, but no remains are ever found. Not a single bone, not a single tooth, nothing. And then the family starts receiving evidence that their children may still be alive. A woman reports seeing the children in a car driving away from the fire. A hotel owner in another state claims she housed the children after the fire. And in 1968, 23 years later, Jenny Sodder receives a photograph in the mail of a young man who looks exactly like her son Louis would look at that age. On the back of the photo, the words, "Louis Sodder. I love Brother Frankie. Elil Boys," a number that investigators have never been able to trace. The Sodder children were never found. The fire was never fully explained, and the photograph was never identified. Mystery number 4. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse, December 26th, 1900. A supply boat arrives at the Flannan Isles Lighthouse off the coast of Scotland. The lighthouse had been dark for several days, which was extremely unusual. When the crew boards the island, they find the lighthouse completely abandoned. 3 experienced lighthouse keepers, James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, are gone. The last entry in the lighthouse log reads, "Storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all." The table was set for a meal that was never eaten. 1 chair was knocked over. 2 of the 3 sets of oilskin coats were missing, suggesting 2 men went outside. But 1 man left without his coat, in the middle of winter. They were never found. No bodies were ever recovered, and no explanation has ever been given for what happened to 3 experienced men on a tiny island with nowhere to go. Mystery number 5. The Voynich Manuscript. It is the most mysterious book in the world. Carbon dated to the early 1400s. The Voynich Manuscript is a 240-page illustrated book, written in a language that nobody has ever been able to identify, let alone translate. The illustrations show strange plants that don't exist in nature, astronomical diagrams that match no known star charts, and naked figures bathing in green liquid connected by elaborate pipe systems. The world's greatest cryptographers have tried to decode it. The NSA attempted to crack it. Artificial intelligence has been applied to it. And nobody, in over 600 years, has been able to explain what it says, where it came from, or who wrote it. Mystery number 6. The Zodiac Killer, San Francisco, 1968. A serial killer begins targeting couples in lovers' lanes across Northern California. He is never caught. But what makes this case different from other serial killers is that the Zodiac taunts the police. He sends letters to newspapers, claiming responsibility for murders, and including coded ciphers that he claims contain his identity. The first cipher was solved within a week. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The second cipher, the famous 340 cipher, took 51 years to crack. It was finally decoded in 2020. It read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber." The Zodiac claimed to have killed 37 people. Only 5 were confirmed. He was never identified, never arrested, and may have lived out his entire life, never knowing he was one of the most hunted men in American history. Mystery number 7. The Tamam Shud Case, December 1st, 1948. An unidentified man is found dead on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He is well-dressed, in good physical condition, and completely unidentified. No wallet, no identification, no name tag on any of his clothing. All labels had been removed. His fingerprints matched nobody in any database. His teeth matched no dental records, and nobody came forward to claim him. But the most disturbing discovery came later. Hidden in a secret pocket sewn into his trousers was a tiny piece of paper, torn from a book, with 2 words printed on it. Tamam Shud, a Persian phrase meaning, "It is ended." The man has never been identified. The book the paper was torn from has never been found, and nobody knows who he was, why he died, or what ended. Mystery number 8. The Lead Masks Case, August 20th, 1966. A young boy flying a kite on Vintum Hill in Brazil discovers 2 men lying dead on the ground. Both men are wearing formal suits. Both are wearing homemade lead eye masks. And beside them is a note. It reads, 16:30 be at the agreed place. 18:30 swallow capsules after effect protect metals await signal mask. The men are identified as Miguel Jose Viana and Manuel Pereira de Cruz, both electronic technicians from the same town. Toxicology reports are inconclusive. No cause of death is ever determined. Nobody knows what the note means. Nobody knows what the capsules were. Nobody knows what the metals were. Nobody knows what signal they were waiting for. And nobody knows why 2 men in formal suits were wearing homemade lead masks on top of a hill in Brazil. The case has never been solved. Mystery number 9. The Max Headroom Incident, November 22nd, 1987, Chicago. Millions of people are watching the evening news on WGN television when suddenly the signal is hijacked. A person wearing a Max Headroom mask and costume appears on screen, laughing, mumbling, making no sense. The broadcast lasts 30 seconds before engineers cut the signal. But 2 hours later, during an episode of Doctor Who on another channel, the hijacker appears again, this time for 90 seconds. The person is seen being spanked with a fly swatter by someone off camera. Before the signal is cut again, the FCC investigated immediately. The FBI was called in, and despite one of the most intensive broadcast investigations in American history, nobody was ever identified. Nobody was ever charged. And to this day, nobody knows who hijacked 2 television signals simultaneously in one of the most densely populated cities in America without leaving a single trace. Mystery number 10. The Black Dahlia, January 15th, 1947, Los Angeles. The body of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short is found in a vacant lot. What the police find? shocks even the most experienced investigators. Her body has been completely severed at the waist, drained of all blood, cleaned, and posed, with a smile cut into her face. The murder required surgical precision, and the killer had clearly taken their time. Elizabeth Short had been missing for 6 days. What happened to her during those 6 days has never been established. Over 150 people confessed to the murder. All were cleared. The real killer was never identified, never arrested, and the Black Dahlia murder remains one of the most disturbing and most investigated cold cases in American history. 10 mysteries, 10 cases that investigators have spent decades trying to solve, and not one of them has ever been fully explained. Somewhere out there, the answers exist, but for now, the secrets remain. If this gave you chills, you need to see our next video. Subscribe to EnigmaSphere Studio and hit the bell so you never miss what we uncover next.